Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Career Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, Lost Caverns of Ixalan spoiler season, at least for the main set, is over. And with that, we've got a lot of exciting brand new commanders. I think if I counted correctly, there's 27 commanders in total from the actual set. For the main set, I should say, not including the precons. And yes, on this episode, I'm going to be taking you through my favorites all the way from number 10 down to number 1, my favorite commanders from the set. Now, I will say this is my picks for the Golden Pig of the set, which again are my favorites, not necessarily the most powerful commanders from the set. That's a separate list where I go on the tier list. There'll be a different episode. So with all that said, let's jump into the awards. First up, starting off at number 10, we've got Nicanzil, Current Conductor, a 2/3 Merfolk Scout for Simic colors. Whenever a creature you control explores a land card, you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. Whenever a creature you control explores a non-land card, you get a counter on Nicanzil, Current Conductor. So essentially, extra benefits for exploring, which are fantastic. I mean, especially that first one. Now, I absolutely love when Simic takes things in a somewhat different direction. Typically, you're like, yay, draw, yay, ramp. This utilizes Explore, which is an underutilized mechanic. We are starting to get more cards from this set, which is nice. I hope they keep expanding on Explore in the future. I really actually like the mechanic itself. And so being able to reward you for going heavy into Explore, you can do some pretty exciting things. Again, basically now Explore, instead of it just becoming, well, hey, potential card advantage if it is a land, now it's, well, actually ramp if it is a land. It's kind of like Coiling Oracle in a way where it's like, yeah, the top card, right into play if it's a land. Somewhat. But also, again, if it's a non-land card, cool. You get an actual, +1 counter on this. You can utilize power in different ways, maybe like with a greater good with this commander to sacrifice it. And of course, obviously, you could just turn it into, well, a 2 or 1-shot KO at a certain point, with some double power effects, maybe with some double strike with like a Fire Shrieker. So yeah, there's some different directions you can take this commander. Of course, you can just go landfall if you really want to as well. Top library manipulation, a lot of really cool concepts that you can utilize with this commander. And again, I am glad that they are starting to go more into Explore and actually giving Explore benefits. So congratulations, Nicanzil, on your 10th place finish. Now let's move on to number 9 with Saheeli, the Sun's Brilliance, a 2/2 Human Artificer for blue and a red. Pay blue and red, tap, create tokens, copy of no target creature artifact you control, except it's an artifact of other types. It gains haste, sacrifice to begin the next end step. So this commander opens up a lot of possibilities when it comes to utilizing, well, creatures either with ETBs or LTBs, and also artifacts that do the same. On top of that, when there are creatures that you are copying, you can also get into some populate effects again. You don't have too many of those kinds of effects in these color combination, but still you can utilize those. There's some different avenues that you can utilize this and actually just really play with some pretty cool things. There's also some end turn shenanigans that you could utilize as well, like, well, Sundial of the Infinite and, that kind of stuff to essentially keep those tokens around as well. So there's some pretty cool avenues that you can take with this commander. I do like when commanders allow you to kind of take different directions for, well, depending on your flavor, on what you want to build. Again, one player can take it creatures, one can take it artifacts, another can take it completely in a different direction, or just a combination of both. Yeah, I do like the design of this commander overall, and one that, yeah, I'm excited to see the builds of a lot of players out there. So again, Saheeli, the Sun's Brilliance, congratulations on your brilliant finish at number 9. But now let's move on to number 8 with Akal Pakal, first among equals, a 1/5 human advisor for 3 mana in total in blue. At the beginning of each player's end step, if an artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, the other into your graveyard. Yeah, that is pretty cool because, again, this can trigger on every single end step, not just your own. So essentially, again, card selection there with card advantage built in, being able to get 2 cards essentially and say, you know what, I like this one better. This one goes in my hand, this goes in my graveyard. You can even have some graveyard shenanigans as well you might be playing around with, which is nice. But again, utilizing some repeatable effects to get more and more. It doesn't specify non-token, obviously, so more and more token artifacts that apply to your opponent's turn to ensure that this triggers. Also, of course, some flash effects like a Shimmer Mirror can allow you to cast your artifacts instant speed to meet that requirement as well. A lot of different cool ways to meet that requirement, a lot of ways to generate absurd amounts of advantage. Yeah, a very, very cool artifact commander that I'm excited to build around myself. Hope you are as well. So again, Akal Pakal, congratulations for your 8th place finish. Next up, though, let's move on to number 7 with Ojer, Axonil, Deepest Might. My apologies for any mispronunciations in this episode. A 4/4 god with trample that costs 4 mana in red. If a red source you control deal an amount of non-combat damage less than its power to an opponent, that source deals damage equal to Ojer's power. Instead, when it dies, return to the battlefield, tap to transform under its own's control, and it flips over into Temple of Power. Tap for a red, pay 2 and a red, tap, transform it. Activate only for red source you control, dealt 4 or more non-combat damage this turn in only as a sorcery. So overall, this is a very cool commander. One that, yeah, I mean, if it is dealt with, it flips over to this land, and yeah, you can pretty easily flip it back if you're building the deck correctly. So essentially, being able to utilize this commander as a power source for you, literally by increasing its power more and more and more. Because again, when you do so, well, when you're dealing non-combat damage, it changes to Ojer's power. So essentially, yeah, just utilize this commander as a power source by giving it like a Blackblade or Forged or some other effects to essentially increase that power a ton, then utilize a lot of tiny little, pinging effects potentially that then turn into something massive. Yeah, a very cool effect. One that, well, can make sure that you are utilizing non-creature damage sources to their fullest. And again, even when it's dealt with, flip it back over because you built your deck properly and you're going to be able to do that. So yeah, a really cool design for a card. And again, one that has earned the title of 7th place. But also on to number 6 with the Ancient One, an 8/8 Spirit God for just 2 mana in Dimir. Descend 8. It can't attack or block unless there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. And by paying 2 in Dimir colors, draw a card, discard a card. We discard a card this way. Target player mills cards equal to its mana value. So essentially, yeah, a massive creature that, well, it can't really do all that much. Though, I should say there are certain ways you can take advantage of its power, even though it might not be able to attack or block, so keep that in mind. But also, again, a way to really play around with mana value and drawing and discarding. There's a lot of really exciting things that you can do. Essentially, getting some giant things potentially in your hand, discarding them in your graveyard, maybe reanimating them, going in a couple of different directions with this one. And while you are doing that, well, yeah, either milling yourself to actually get to the point where you can swing with this, or mill out your opponents. And there are some really spicy things that you can do when you're milling opponents. So yeah, a very exciting commander. Again, one that you don't really expect to see in Dimir. You don't expect to see a giant 8/8 in Dimir for 2 mana. Yeah, I mean, a downside, I guess, or at least a restriction, but still a very cool concept for a commander, and one that you can, again, build in a couple different ways. So I really like the design. Congratulations, the Ancient One, on your 6th place finish. And speaking of really cool designs, next up, we've got Malcolm Alluring Scoundrel at 5th place. A 2/1 Siren Pirate with Flash and Flying that costs 1 and 8 blue, so just 2 mana, very low to the ground commander. When it deals combat damage to a player, put a chorus counter on it, draw a card, then discard a card. There are 4 more chorus counters on Malcolm. You may cast this card without paying its mana cost. My goodness, is this a very cool design. Again, a commander that really doesn't do all that much for a little bit, but once you build it up, oh my goodness. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say much because, yeah, it's still, a 2/1 Flash Flyer for just 2 mana that does loot when it hits. But once you get those 4 chorus counters on, oh my goodness, yeah, just think about just cheating out a Blightsteel Colossus, or, I mean, more importantly, like an Omniscience, to be like, I guess all my things for free. Even on a budget, though, yeah, cheat out some massive things, get them into play, demolish your opponents with maybe like a Pathbreaker of Ulamog. Oh my goodness, crazy things can happen. And of course, yeah, I mean, you could wait for, to hit 4 times with this to get those chorus counters. You could also just wait for 2 times, maybe they double strike like a Fire Shrieker, or maybe you could just hit once and then proliferate to actually get there, and then all of a sudden, things are going to go crazy. So yeah, overall, a very, very cool commander, one that you can take advantage of in a couple different ways. I love this design, and yes, I think it has a ton of potential. Congratulations again, Malcolm, on your 5th place finish. But also on to 4th place with Abuelo Ancestral Echo, a 2/2 spirit that costs 1 in Azorius colors, flying ward 2, pay 1 in Azorius colors, exile an target creature artifact you control, return to the battlefield under token's control to begin next end step. This commander is really cool, and again, like Saheeli, essentially, I like commanders that let you go in different directions. Again, you can take this commander in artifacts, you can take this commander in creatures, you can take this commander with both, essentially, and say, I like a combination of that. Again, utilizing cards that have ETBs, LTBs, utilizing some different kinds of effects, utilizing this commander to avoid board wipes with your important pieces in play. There's a lot of potential for this. It's kind of like a Deadeye Navigator, but pretty much fixed, essentially. And yeah, again, it's fixed because, well, it does cost 3 to actually activate, essentially 1 white and a blue, and then also it has that delay, which again is a downside when it comes to not doing crazy combos like Deadeye Navigator, like Peregrine Drake, but also an upside in that, again, you can avoid board wipes and such. So yeah, this kind of a commander allows you to utilize some pretty janky cards out there, and I absolutely love it. Like, I mean, if it's okay with your play group, like Knowledge Pool, which is, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty janky card. Also, Coveted Jewel, love that card. My goodness, is that card good with this one. So yeah, again, a commander that lets you utilize it in different ways with some different strategies, and also, again, some off-the-wall crazy cards. What's not to love? Again, Abuelo, congratulations on your 4th place finish. Next up, though, we're moving on to number 3, though, with Bartolomé del Presidio, a 2/1 Vampire Knight for Orzhov colors. Very simple, very effective. Sacrifice another creature artifact, put a +1 counter on Bartolomé del Presidio. Now, again, this might not seem like much, but I absolutely love having a commander that does something so effectively and so efficiently, and again, you can build around it in some different ways from your command zone. My goodness, a 2-mana free sacrifice outlet for not just creatures, but also artifacts as well. And yes, there is a value to that sacrifice. This is huge because most outlets are, sacrifice a creature, which is fine, which is great. And there's plenty of fantastic ones, like Viserys here, a great card. This one, though, says, you know what? We can sacrifice both creatures and artifacts. I'm not charging you to do so. In fact, I will give you a benefit to do so. So yes, you can take this commander with Creatures Aristocrat, you can take it with Artifacts Aristocrat in a way, you can take it with a combination of both. Again, you can just really take advantage of a lot of cool effects that you usually have to have in one deck or the other, like a Marionette Master might not fit in all, Aristocrat decks that are like creature-based essentially, but with this, you can kind of do both, and you can say, no matter what's in play, whether that's a treasure, whether that's a creature, whether that's an artifact that actually wants to hit the graveyard, like an Ichor Wellspring, yeah, I can sacrifice those. I can do exciting things like that, and I can take you all out with this crazy low-to-ground aristocrat-style commander that can also just take you out in combat as well with all those counters, or again, ways to take advantage of that power, which there are quite a few as well. So yeah, overall, a very simple, very effective, very amazing commander that I am so happy that Wizards didn't say, activate only once each turn, or activate only a sorcery. Thank you for not limiting it. Fantastic card. Bartolomé del Presidio, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. But now let's move on to number 2. At 2nd place, we've got Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, a 2/2 human knight for 2 mana in red. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. When you do, put a counter on target attacking creature. It gains trample top turn. That's okay, but more importantly, and why I love this card, whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library, you may play that card until your next end step. Goodness gracious. Turning discard into impulse draw. Now, there is a limitation to that. Again, it says whenever you discard 1 or more. So, wheeling, as in discarding, let's say, your full hand, will still only impulse draw 1 card. That being said, if you've got like a free discard outlet in play, this can be absolutely massive. Essentially, hey, turn that card in your hand that you might not be utilizing into actual value. Get something off the top of your library that you might actually want to use. So absolutely take advantage of all those ways to discard cards. Take advantage of ways to benefit from discarding cards, like, a Glinthorn Buccaneer, which can ping your opponents. Something like, a Bag of Holding, which can give you access to those cards again. A lot of fantastic ways to take advantage of discarding cards. A commander that actually benefits you for just discarding cards. And sure, yeah, you got the attack trigger as well if you really want that. But again, most importantly, turning discard into impulse draw is huge, is cool, and I absolutely love it. Inti, I think you've got a lot of potential. Congratulations on your 2nd place finish. But now, finally, let's talk about the golden pig of this set, in my opinion. That is Amalia Benavides Aguirre, a 2/2 Vampire Scout with Ward, pay 3 life in Orzhov, 2 mana. That's it. White-black. Here we go. Whenever you gain life, Amalia Benavides explores, then destroy all the creatures of its powers exactly 20. My goodness. Okay, first up, again, explore. Again, I think an underutilized mechanic that I do like, and it's got that little bit of random nature to it. Okay, something off the top of my library. Is a land? Cool. I get extra card advantage. Okay, is it not land? Awesome. I can put it in my graveyard if I want, or I can actually just, keep it on top and get a counter on my command. I'm going to get a counter either ways. But still, when you get those counters, you are building up to a momentous occasion where you're just like, okay, hey, 20th counter. Boom! I mean, not 20th counter, 20th power, I should say. It would be 18th counter. Or, of course, there are other ways. Because, again, it doesn't require you to say, yeah, when it's got like 20 counters on it, or I guess it'd be 18 counters on it. No. It is power, meaning that, like, if you put like a Black Blade Reforged on this commander, you can augment that power. Then by removing the Black Blade Reforged, you can essentially say, okay, I was at 20, now I'm back down to 14 or whatnot, and then you can get to that again. There's, of course, other ways to play with counters, move counters around, remove counters, really, really cool ways that you can take advantage of that to ensure that you're exploding the board again and again and again. And of course, there's ways to make this even more one-sided, because essentially you're like, yeah, you know what? I've got some ways to make my creatures indestructible. Let's do that. My creatures are indestructible. Yours are not. Let's get rid of all your creatures. Bye-bye for like the 5th time. So yeah, this is a commander that can just take you out in a couple of different ways. Again, can take you out, but maybe even through Aristocrat style. If you actually want to destroy your own things for value, cool, you can do that. But also, yeah, just once you get to 20 power, what's one more power? Get to 21, take your opponents out after you. Again, wipe out all their creatures with a one-shot KO. So yeah, this commander, very cool design. Absolutely love it. And yeah, I probably should have mentioned that, yeah, there's a lot of different really cool ways that you can just gain life throughout the game with different instances of life. And that's probably where I should have started, but still, I got a little too excited with this one. Again, congratulations, Amalia Benavides Aguirre, on your first place finish. So now this episode is coming to a close. It's time for me to hear from you in the comments below. So let me know what your thoughts are on my picks. What did I get right in your opinion? What did I not get right in your opinion? What commanders would you have liked to see in the top 10? What commanders would you actually put in your top 10? What is your favorite commander from this set? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.